Are elites truly as impressive as they're made out to be? Probably. It's true that you can't become an elite without significant effort, but it's worth noting that hard work isn't exclusive to the elite. Even so, I've always felt looked down upon despite my own efforts. My name is Samantha. I've been married to Robert for 2 years. Robert, a certified public accountant, has a steady income and a secure career. I continued to work after our marriage, but my earnings never matched his, leaving me feeling inferior. Eventually, I accepted this as my lot in life. Being a CPA means not only a stable income but also the freedom to start a private practice. There's no mandatory retirement age, and the job security is unmatched. Robert, as a tax expert, was in a league I felt I could never reach. As Robert's wife, I went out of my way to avoid any embarrassment. Then one day, my mother-in-law showed up unexpectedly. I was caught off guard. The house was messy, and I hadn't started any cleaning or laundry yet. What was supposed to be a leisurely weekend quickly turned into a frenzy. My mother-in-law, dressed in elegant clothes and stylish shoes, looked nothing like someone in her 60s. As soon as she entered, she began her usual barrage of critical comments. "Oh, Samantha, what's this? How long do you plan to sleep? A wife should wake up before her husband and have everything done. You can't slack off just because it's the weekend." I'm sorry. I'll take care of it right away." I expected Robert to defend me, but instead he joined in with the criticism. "She's always slacking on weekends. It's embarrassing for a CPA's wife to be so lazy. A CPA is an elite, and Samantha's job doesn't measure up. You need to understand Robert more. He's really struggling." Right. Samantha doesn't understand. She thinks just working is enough. Oh, that's unacceptable. She needs to know her place. I understand that, but you don't have to put it so harshly. What a troublesome situation. I'm concerned about the future. Well, never mind. I'm here for an inspection today. I need to check the place. An inspection? Yes, I'm moving in here. With Dad gone, it's inconvenient for me to live alone. I need to make sure this place is suitable for me. I was stunned. I hadn't been informed that my mother-in-law was moving in. I assumed it was a mistake, but it wasn't. She made this decision unilaterally without consulting me, which was infuriating. She was moving in without any discussion with Robert or me, and this was her idea of a house check. I was so frustrated I barely managed to speak. Then she began inspecting every corner of the house, casually referring to it as her house check. Mother-in-law, that's our bedroom. So, oh my goodness, you're going into the bedroom. It hasn't been tidied up yet. It's quite inappropriate to enter a couple's bedroom. You. Annoying as this is, I guess I should apologize. I'm sorry. She ignored my apologies and continued her thorough inspection of the house. I had no idea what she was looking for. After her inspection, she began to voice her complaints. This house won't work for me. It's not accessible. There are no handrails on the stairs. Plus, there's no proper room for me. I'm not going to stay in a cramped space like a dog house. I'll be using your bedroom. Excuse me, that's. Also, I need a traditional living room to feel comfortable. Please convert the living room into a traditional style. I can't do that. Do you have any idea how much the renovation will cost? Of course, Samantha should cover the costs. Robert has already contributed to the living expenses and bought this house. That's right. We haven't relied on Samantha's income due to the huge difference. But if you're willing to contribute, that's fine. Don't just make demands. What? You can't even handle that while living with my mother. It's not just about that. Making decisions on your own without consulting anyone isn't right, is it? What are you talking about? Consult with someone who's always been at the bottom. Don't make me laugh. Living with my mother is a done deal. Got it. My elite husband decided to live with his mother without consulting me. Mom over you. Fine. He threatened me with divorce papers and I ended up going through with it. No matter where you go, you're worthless, Samantha. You have nowhere else to turn, so you have to stick around here, right? Or do you want a divorce? Look, I've already filled out the divorce papers. Do as you wish. I silently took the divorce papers from Robert. The next morning, before heading to work, I submitted them to the town hall. I was fed up with his constant belittlement. I may not be the most capable, but I work hard. Isn't that something? Even on weekends, when I was busy, Robert would demand things like, "We're out of juice. Go buy some, or I want sushi for lunch. I'd go shopping, iron his shirts, polish his shoes, and prepare meals for the week. I was constantly on the move with no time to rest, doing everything I could for him. I couldn't tolerate Robert and his mother's behavior any longer. That night, after submitting the divorce papers, Robert ridiculed me again. "What's this? You expect me to eat this? I'm sorry, I didn't have time today, so I bought pre-made food. You're a failure as a wife. This is unacceptable given how much I earn. You've always been at the bottom. I went to a state university with a high GPA, while you went to a mid-tier university with a low GPA. Plus, I'm a CPA, and you're just an employee at an unknown company. We're worlds apart. You need to be more aware of your place. As always, you're so harsh." It's not about being harsh. It's about recognizing your own level. It's dangerous not to be aware of it. It's not good for me if you're not up to par. Go get something that matches my level, high-end sushi or premium steak. Anything upscale will do. I'm hungry, so go buy something now. Isn't that what a wife is supposed to do? Well, that might have been the case until now. What do you mean, until now? What's with that tone? I'm done serving you. Please don't treat me like a servant. Be thankful that I've prepared anything at all. What? Is that a problem? I'm not your wife anymore. I filed for divorce this morning, so I'm no longer bound to fulfill those duties. What? What are you talking about? The divorce papers? The ones I gave you yesterday? Yes, exactly. You told me to handle them as I saw fit. They were already filled out and stamped, so I took it as your intent. Wait. I only gave them to you as a threat. What? After signing and stamping them, you're saying it was just a threat? That's hard to believe. Surely not. They were processed without any issues. Well then, if you're reconsidering, I won't change my mind. I've had enough of this. It was convenient while it lasted. I'll pack up my things and leave this weekend. If you want me to leave sooner, that's fine too. Oh no, this is bad. I need to call my mom. I never thought my husband would be like this. I felt a deep sense of detachment. After filing for divorce, I had a moment of doubt, but that's gone now. I plan to pack up and return to my parents' home this weekend. Even though my belongings are minimal, it doesn't matter. The ease with which a marriage can end made me question what family truly means. Was it because we didn't have children or couldn't form strong bonds? I don't think so. The issue was our relationship. We couldn't connect on a deeper level. Regret is pointless, so I've decided to move on. Now that I'm single again, I'll focus on my work. I was feeling motivated, ready to embrace a new beginning next week. But then, while moving my things with a borrowed car from my father, I noticed my ex-husband pacing around nervously, refusing to help. An hour later, his behavior made sense. He was embarrassed about the divorce and had called my ex-mother-in-law in a desperate attempt to reconcile. When my ex-mother-in-law arrived, he rushed to explain things to her. She then approached me and said, "Samantha, you really do whatever you want, don't you? I don't approve of your decision to divorce." Do I need my parents' approval to get a divorce? You handed me the divorce papers right in front of you. You can't claim ignorance. You really don't get it, do you? That piece of paper was just a threat. Why would you take it seriously? Robert is an elite. Don't you understand the privilege of being an elite's wife? I didn't marry Robert because of his status. Privilege? What are you talking about? Being married to an elite is something rare and valuable. You had that. It's not right to just throw it away. We'll act like this never happened, so stop with the nonsense about leaving. I think it's you who doesn't understand, clinging to the status of an elite without contributing anything. That's you, isn't it? My ideal is a warm family. Being an elite doesn't make everything right. Earning money is fine, but what matters is the heart, a quality that seems to be missing in you and your son. Be quiet. You have no right to talk to me like that. How dare you? I'm not a daughter-in-law anymore. No matter what you say, I'm single now and will do as I please. Wait a minute. That's not right. My mother-in-law suddenly lost her assertiveness. I didn't care anymore and continued packing. I quickly left the house, not bothering with the confused expressions of those inside. I said, "Thanks for tolerating me. I'm sorry for being such a low-class wife. Please find someone with higher education and income for remarriage. Best of luck with that." I hurriedly left. Returning to my parents' home, I felt an unexpected sense of relief and comfort. My parents welcomed me with open arms, and I found myself tearing up. I realized how foolish I had been to cling desperately to such an arrogant husband. Seeing my parents reminded me of the warmth of family and the compassion of being human. I felt all the stress I'd accumulated explode away and fell asleep without even having dinner, sleeping soundly through the night. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed for the first time in a long while. I decided to cook breakfast for my parents. The familiar home-cooked meal was nostalgic, filled with mixed feelings and a realization of the time wasted. I had never expected to restart my life in my 20s, but my parents said it might be a lucky chance, and I agreed. I decided to focus on getting a professional certification and striving for a promotion. Then, a month later, while making hand-cut pasta with my parents on a weekend, the doorbell rang. Since neither of my parents could leave their tasks, I answered it. Standing at the door was Robert. "Robert, what are you doing here?" My ex-husband stood at the door, drenched from the pouring rain, without even an umbrella. Surprised, I impulsively invited him in. "Come inside before you catch a cold." Just then, my father appeared. Despite being in the middle of making pasta, he came over with a commanding presence. "Dad, what are you doing here? This isn't your place. Please leave." "Dad, Robert is soaked through. He'll catch a cold." I couldn't care less about him. He's the one who made you suffer. "But, get him out of here right now." At that moment, Robert fell to his knees, begging. I was stunned by the sight. Here was the man who once looked down on me, now pleading in a way I had never seen before. He began to speak. "Father-in-law, I'm so sorry for everything. Let me be direct. I want to remarry Samantha. I regret how I've behaved and have realized I can't live without her. Please, I beg you." "What are you talking about? It's too late. Leave. I can't manage on my own. I can't clean, do laundry, or cook. I need Samantha. I believe we can find a way to live together in harmony. My mother also wants peace. She's getting older, and if she can't move, it'll be over. Samantha, please help me. Can't you come back?" So that's it. Typical. Enough is enough. This isn't a joke. Samantha is not a housekeeper. Go home and don't come back. "Father-in-law? I'm not your father-in-law anymore. Stop calling me that." "Please, father-in-law, Samantha, help me." "Hey, wait a minute. Don't just throw me out." For a moment, I was almost swayed, but my father intervened. "He's just struggling because he can't manage household chores. He's clueless without Samantha. His mother just wants to lounge around, and apparently he couldn't get along with her or manage his own life, so he came here for help. They're constantly fighting, and it was nothing but stress. I'm not going back to that. Not after finally being free." So Robert was left with the task of handling all the household chores. Between work, cleaning, laundry, and other responsibilities, he was in for a tough time. He finally understood the extent of my efforts, but it was too late. They could face the consequences of their own making. Eventually, Robert couldn't cope and abandoned his job and life. I saw him for the pathetic figure he was. I found an apartment near my office, moved out, and focused on obtaining a professional certification, which I passed with flying colors. My salary increased, and I began to see the new side of myself. I was overjoyed and on cloud nine. This was just the beginning. There's so much more ahead. I won't be defeated. I'll keep moving forward, no matter what.